When you think that it's okay to just go along with your daily life because it's someone else's problem, what you get is a terrorist like Benjamin Netanyahu serving as the arsonist in chief.
Here's Abby talking to Jeremy Scahill about whether this death and destruction is being normalized.
Atrocities of the Iraq War. I mean, the crime of the century, the Haditha massacre, the Blackwater Nisour Square massacre, 17
Fallujah.
Civilians mowed down, Fallujah, all of these things that symbolized the worst crime. It seems like the rapidity and succession of those types of massacres and war crimes are happening weekly, sometimes daily. Is this unprecedented? And if so, what does that mean? At this point, I don't know what kind of world we are living in if this is allowed to go through.
There was a doctrine that Donald Rumsfeld and Dick Cheney promoted in the immediate aftermath of 9/11, and they said that we have to embrace an idea that the world is our battlefield. All of these countries believe that they can kill and occupy and murder in defense of their wars of conquest and their seizure of natural resources, but it's also a warning to all who dare to resist. Netanyahu did not come up with the tactics that are being used against the Palestinians of Gaza or the West Bank. This is decades and decades of imperial history that is now being unleashed on an industrial scale. And we need to learn a lesson from this, which is that when good people remain silent, when people mock those who make it a central component of their humanity to be out in the streets or to be investigating the corruption and the abuse of power, when you think that it's okay to just go along with your daily life because it's someone else's problem, what you get is a terrorist like Benjamin Netanyahu serving as the arsonist in chief, not just burning fires throughout the Middle East, but altering the state of the world today. And if we as a people, whether we're journalists or activists or scholars, if we don't pour our hearts into confronting this right now, what comes next will be even worse. We always think we've seen the worst, but we haven't. And Netanyahu used a phrase recently that I found so eerie. He said that we're going to unleash things you haven't seen yet against people in Gaza as part of Operation Gideon's Chariot. Obama normalized and for many liberals legitimized the notion that assassination is a central and necessary part of running the empire. And he said that he found a smarter way to wage wars with his drone wars. When someone like Obama is in power and what they do is legitimize the agenda of people like Dick Cheney, then you get Benjamin Netanyahu's genocidal war in Gaza. We have to be better students of history. We have to be better analysts of what is actually happening in real time.
To give me some credit, I fucking was. Like back when Obama was doing these drone murders and these assassinations, and Abby was definitely, and so was I, talking about it on a daily basis about the horror show that was the Obama presidency, just blowing up wedding parties from a plane in the sky that no one can see. It's literally just a bomb comes down and eliminates whole villages, and that was he was what, the peace president, Obama? Yeah, so he's talking about it in real time. Absolutely. This is what Chris Hedges has said so much about, is the moral bankruptcy of the liberal class to act like Obama wasn't a bloodthirsty maniac in the way he behaved with his foreign policy, or allowed the Pentagon to behave, whichever you want to believe. It paved the way. It paved the way for Donald Trump. It paved the way for Netanyahu. It paved the way for you can just blow up a village and, okay, a bunch of women and children died. Yeah, and plenty of innocent men too, but we can just assume that men, no matter what age they are, they must have been terrorists. But blow up a bunch of women and children and then go, well, we got the combatants, or whatever the dumb justification is, and you create an absolutely morally bankrupt world, which is what they've done. Under the global war on terror, which of course spanned Obama, Trump, Biden, you're talking 6 million deaths. And how is that different than the Holocaust, for God's sake? I mean, it took a little longer, I guess, to hit 6 million. It's just absolutely paved the way. It paved the way for what we have now. And I think that's what Jeremy Scahill's talking about. And what the way Abby brought it up is that like back when you saw these specific massacres, like the Blackwater massacre, where they literally just were at a traffic jam in Iraq and they got out and they started firing at someone and then they killed, I don't even remember how many people. And eventually under Obama, you know what, 1 or 2 people went to prison for it. And then Trump pardoned them when he got into office the first time. So they spent like a year in prison or whatever for massacring, you know, I don't remember if it was a dozen or 20 people or whatever it was. But that type of thing used to be talked about. It used to be like, this is crazy. This is unfathomable. And now with Israel committing genocide, that's live streaming all our phones, it's, you know, they can massacre 20 people and it's not even a story. That's an interesting aspect of this that very few people talk about is Israel is succeeding in sucking away our fucking humanity, even for those of us who are opposed to it. Just to like, we can't even, there's not even enough time in the day to talk about every massacre. You've seen the list of dead victims in Gaza that they scroll out over the span of 2 miles at a protest or something. There's no way, like Israel, by allowing this to happen, all of our humanity is getting destroyed. And that's why I think the only thing that could redeem our humanity is for Israel to collapse and obviously to save as many in Gaza as could possibly be achieved at this point.